Hey, hi. 1, 2, 3, go. Welcome, traveling, stitching, arty friends. I had an adventure yesterday with my youngest son who offered to go with me out to Fidham, which I'm going to share with you. We had a lovely, quick visit, but we got it done. I really, really wanted to go out there. I'd heard about it on our local NPR, what's up to do around Los Angeles. So my husband did his grandpa thing and watched our grandson and didn't feel like going. He said, I did the quilt thing. And so I got my youngest son to take me. We even went to lunch. It was really nice. So let's see. Before we get there, I would really like to share with you some of the things that are going on with me. My current works in process are, of course, I need to kick off the Monarch butterfly. I am designing and working hard to make that a reality. 20 inches, it's not much, but it's so gotta be in my mind so perfect for what my conception is. I really, really want it to be good. So I haven't started, I did not open up the fabric yet, and I haven't started really attaching embellishments. Right now I'm just working on what fabrics are going to go where, so to make sure that I have enough, because it's a specific type of fabric that we're using. Alrighty, let's see. Another work in progress, of course, is my 725. I'm working on my Lincoln, which I've shown you before, and I am very excited that I have now conquered the second floor windows. I know it doesn't feel like much is happening, but I really am working on it. Let's see. The other was the gnomes quilt, and I got 2 months done. So 1 month was these 2 trees with stars on one, and this kite flying gnome. The other month was this cutie, and the other was this darling. So I got 2 months completed. Took 1 day to do that. And then the other whip go that I was lagging on before the beginning of April was billboards. And I got the first 4 trees done for row 1. They're all the same. Done. Alrighty, the other thing I've been spending time on is my 3 Kings stitch. It's all purple on beige, and I am using Ada, and I, just like the old days, use pins to make sure I'm counting off right. It's especially important when all you have to anchor to in your mind for what goes where. It's all purple. So I'm using pins to mark. Let's see. My goals are to not just do the Monarch, but get to my, oh, I forgot this guy. Life is Sweet. And another month's magazine came. So I have 3, and I am still on the first. So Mama needs to take some time to do that. Let's see. The next month's whip goes, this month's whip goes, April's, are, where's my calendar? I have those. The Pandemic Sampler and the Girls Quilt. The Pandemic Sampler is put away in whips in a closet, and I just didn't feel like getting it out. I will put a picture right here so you can see what the Pandemic Sampler is about. It's a beautiful, beautiful sampler, and I dyed my own fabric for that one. And then this one, I am on month 1 of my girls quilt that you create blocks and then embroider. It was a block of the month, and there's one for each month. So the one I'm on is January. I'll continue with that. So the girls quilt and the pandemic are April's WIPGOs. I've got a deadline is with the Monarch. And I feel like, oh, the temperature stitch that I created, I really want to get framed. So I'll be sharing that with you next time, hopefully. I'll be enjoying that, because what made me think of it was I cleared out one of my project bags. I've got to get on that. So I will. Alrighty, FITM. FITM, I'm aware of FITM from being a high school teacher, arts teacher. And they would organize trips to tour the school. And then we got to go to the Barker Hangar at Old Santa Monica Airport. Barker Hangar, you might be familiar, is where the fashion show in Zoolander at the end was filmed. The kids put on as a graduate student, their fashion, their lines, and it was just beautiful, fantastic, goodness. The lights and the energy, it was fantastic. The school was started in, I looked it up, 1969, and they've been in downtown Los Angeles, just adjacent to the Fashion District since then. They've had a museum and a collection of costumes being collected since 1978, and they have costumes going back all the way back into the 1800s, so it says. This year, their display, the Academy Awards display, was of, I guess, all the movies they could muster samples from. Not samples, the costumes from. So we got to see Babylon and Elvis and Everything Everywhere and Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, Bullet Train, which I'm sorry, I knew nothing about, Downton Abbey and Top Gun, Thor, Love and Thunder, and then they had a nice big display of numerous costumes from the winter, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. So here you go. I hope you enjoy it. If you are interested in continuing to see my content of traveling and stitching, please subscribe and go ahead, and if you like. If you don't, like it twice. Alrighty. Have a good weekend on its way shortly. It's trash day today. We've got to put our trash cans out. And I think I shared, this is my third take, I think I shared everything I wanted to share with you. It's from our home, 26 miles out to where this is, near what used to be the Staples Center, which is now Crypto Center. And it was just in an area now that I didn't realize has really built up a lot of condominiums. The tall building that is in a photo that I have for you that's next to FITM is a part of their property now, I read, and it's used for student housing if they need to apply for that. Alrighty. Thank you so much for being here. Take good care. I just wish I could hug you. Thanks for being here. Bye. I'll go back in a sec. celebrating cinematic costume design. When we dim the lights and watch the screen, which could be the size of your phone or 6 stories tall, we enter the magical time and space traveling universe of cinema. As the story unfurls, we are drawn in by the visual alchemy of set design, locations, cinematography, but without appropriately dressed actors to anchor the plot. What good is an ornately decorated room, a spectacular vista, or a lush tracking shot? Costume designers do so much more than just dress actors. Thanks to these creatives and the concept artists, cutters, fitters, agers, and dyers, and many others besides them, we experience the nuance of each actor's role through their attire. Choices made in color palettes, silhouettes, and materials allow us to distinguish between heroes and villains and cue us into the historic, contemporary, and fantastical nature of the storyline. Great costume design is more than great clothing. It furthers our perception of what makes each character real. Welcome to the FIDM Museum's latest Art of Costume Design in Film exhibition. Beautiful. The first two you'll see are from Blonde, worn by Ana de Armas. And the third one is from Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. But that third one, I don't believe it was worn because it wasn't assigned to the actress. I think it was one of the dresses as a sample in the designing studio in the show. Next up is Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. Costumes worn by Janelle Monáe, Daniel Craig, and Kate Hudson. Then we see The Northman by Focus Features. Costumes worn by Bjork, Nicole Kidman, Ethan Hawke, Anita Sluziati, and Alexander Skarsgård. Let me get this card. Then over on the right side of the room, we had costumes for Downton Abbey, A New Era, for Cora, Edith, and Mary, worn by Elizabeth McGovern, Laura Carmichael, and Michelle Dockery. I just love the finishing touches and just the extra effort put in on these beautiful, beautiful costumes. Next to it was Bullet Train. Ironically, why is this next to Downton Abbey? I don't know what this movie is about, but nicely done, okay. Costumes worn by Ana Karenina, Joey King, and Benito A. Martinez Oqueso. Up at the front right of the room was the Academy Award winner for costume, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. And these costumes were worn by Tenoch Huerta Mejia, Leticia Wright, Angela Bassett, Winston Duke, and Lupita Nyong'o. History and modernity. Costume designers approach historical films in various ways. Some focus on meticulous research to inform their work, while others craft evocative costumes meant to capture a mood or emotion. Some might even opt to inject modern sensibilities into their designs as a way to engage with contemporary viewers. All costume designers make decisions collaboratively to ensure that the film looks cohesive, while always keeping in mind the primary goal of any costume: to support a film's storytelling capacity through sartorial messaging, allowing the viewer to fall deeper into the plot. Into the next room, I see Everything Everywhere All at Once. Costumes worn by Stephanie Su, Michelle Yeoh, Ki Wei Kwan, and Jamie Lee Curtis. And next to them on the right, from Ticket to Paradise, worn by George Clooney and Julia Roberts. From Babylon, worn by Lee Jun Lee and Margot Robbie. Then, from Marvel Studios, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, worn by Elizabeth Olsen, Benedict Cumberbatch, and Xochitl Gomez. From Universal, we have the movie Nope. Costumes for Brandon Perea, Kiki Palmer, Roman Gross, and Daniel Kaluuya. Woman King, costumes by Gersha Phillips, worn by Viola Davis, Lashana Lynch, and Thuso Bedu. So you've got Bradley, Toast Rooster, and Maverick twice.
Awesome sauce.
Miles Taylor and Tom Cruise twice here.
Very good.
And they stressed his jacket a little bit to make it look worn.
Unless that's the original one from the first movie.
Oh, yeah. No, probably not.
Is that his flight suit?
Yeah, when he was in that experimental stealth.
And this is just for walking around on deck or what?
Yeah, I think it's just the flight suit.
Yeah.
Worn by Miles Taylor.
Shoes are pretty worn. Very good.
Don't Worry Darling, Warner Brothers, designed by Ariane Phillips. We've got costumes worn by Florence Poe, Chris Pine, Harry Styles, Gemma Chan, and Olivia Wilde. Pretty cool. Wow.
It's a hat.
Thor, Love and Thunder by Mayez C. Rubio. So we have the King, Gore, and Thor, and Jane Foster, also the mighty Thor.
Did it do very well?
I don't know, I didn't watch it.
Oh. That's a cool outfit.
That's awesome. I like the
grunge added to it. It's pretty awesome. And this is pretty epic here. That's Thor. Notice how the costumes are so like little to us. This is tiny.
That's Natalie Portman.
Oh, is that?
She is tiny.
Oh yeah, true. I love her shoes. Those are pretty rockin'. Dying.
In the middle of the room was this costume from Focus Features Tar, designed by
Kate Blanchett wore
Dina
this?
Dowd-Jeller, worn by Kate
It's
Blanchett.
tiny. Christian Bale wore this. And Margot Robbie. It's beautiful.
This was for 20th century Amsterdam costume designer J.R. Hawbaker and Albert Wolski.
Robert Peterson, Zoe
Pattinson.
Pattinson, and Paul Dano. That's some pretty epic costumes right there. This is tiny.
I know. She's on a stand.
Yeah.
And I'm almost as tall as it.
Look at that tiny, tiny figure.
Like her head has to be by my shoulder.
Gosh. She is a tiny thing. Batman, he looks average, right?
Yeah, I think Robert Pattinson's
Pretty
I think
average
he's like
size,
6 feet
and then-
tall he is.
That guy looks pretty big. At
Riddler?
least, yeah, they're. Wow. All of them worn by Austin Butler.
And here we have Elvis, all three costumes worn by Austin Butler.
Love that suit in the back. All the
This movie
turquoise.
should've won a lot more.
Yeah.
But that's what you get when you.
Yeah, I love the macrame belt. That is way choice. And the handsome shirt here that looks like it wants to be lace. Beautiful. And the black piping. Nice pocket. Beautifully done. Excellent shoes. And wow, this must have been, like Jailhouse Rock period. It's a wonderful leather jacket. Excellent shoes. Very nice. Oh, of course.
Like the 3 witches.
Sure. Wonderful. This must be Bette Midler. Beautiful. So we have Kathy Najimy, Bette Midler, and Sarah Jessica Parker. Very good.
She's 5'2".
That is so tiny. You look like Gigantor next to her. Wow. So that's Zoe Kravitz?
Yeah, she's 5'2".
Chris Pratt, Sam Neill, Laura Dern, Bruce Dallas, Howard, and Jeff Goldblum, all in front of us. How awesome.
Yeah, I wonder which one's Jeff Goldblum.
The tall guy in the back, or this guy?
It's gotta be him. I can get that's Chris Pratt's character.
Okay.
That looks like what's his name? Sam Neill.
Yeah.
Then that's probably
Laura Dern.
Laura Dern, and then this would be who's that other one? Claire. Yeah, Bryce Dallas Howard.
Aw, Laura Dern. That's a pretty outfit. I love that. What is this? Beautiful.
The School for Good and Evil, Netflix, costume designer Renee Ehrlich Kalfus. These costumes were worn by Charlize Theron, Sophia Wiley, Sophia Ann Caruso, and then Kerry Washington.
Oh, number 4 is Charlize Theron. That one. Very good. Who wore the big dress? Sophia Wiley. And that one? Kerry Washington. Very nice. Beautifully done. Beautiful, beautiful. Lovely train. Gorgeous.
Oh, here's them wearing it.
Are these things?
I think it's just for their. I don't
Their
know,
school?
No, I have no idea.
Because it says it's for Evers. I've got to look that up. Nice. Love it. Wow, nice shoulders. So those two were graduates.
Netflix crossed with FITM from film to fashion. In October 2022, FITM and Netflix celebrated the launch of The School for Good and Evil by partnering to reimagine the Never and Ever costumes from the movie. Designed by Renee Ehrlich Kalfus, 4 FITM-educated designers created custom, ready-to-wear outfits. These inventive looks were worn by influencers and debuted at the LA Red Carpet premiere. All 4 designers are graduates of FITM Advanced Fashion Design Program.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Beautiful.
Avatar, The Way of Water from 20th Century Studios. Costume designer Deborah Scott. Costumes worn by Kate Winslet, Bailey Bass, Sam Worthington, Cliff Curtis, and Zoe Saldana.
Beautiful shawl work. Oh, I love that. Wow. Wow. I gotta say, it's been great. What a gift for my son to come with me to this. Just lovely. Northsman, Zach's favorite.
I don't know who Valkyra is.
Oh, they're probably European.
And then, of course, number 5, you got
Who's number 5?
Alexander Skarsgård. He's
Oh.
the main character. He was like the barbarian of them. He
Oh.
was out. He was the character out for revenge.
Wow. Where did you see this on?
I can't remember. It was on Netflix.
Those are some pretty awesome shoes. They handmade right there. And those as well. Love that outfit. Okay, so the prized golden statuette has been awarded to costume designers every year since the 21st Academy Awards in 1949. Prior to this date, the category did not exist, which means many famous films and pioneers in the field were never eligible. Would Gilbert Adrian have won the Oscar for designing Dorothy's gingham pinafore for The Wizard of Oz? Or would Ori Kelly have taken the gold for Betty Davis's wardrobe in Dark Victory, both released in 1939? Alas, we will never know. For each ceremony, costumes from 5 movies are nominated through ballots cast by members of the Academy of Motion Pictures, Arts and Sciences. Over the past 74 years, 344 films have been recognized for achievements in costume design. To date, the Oscar has been bestowed to 70 individuals. Edith Head legendarily leads with 35 nominations and 8 wins. Until 1967, 2 costume design awards were handed out each year. Why? Because up to that point, design work for black and white films and those shot in color were rewarded separately.
In between
It's been
editing
great.
this
Back
video,
to the car. Beautiful views this afternoon.
I had
Old
a
Sears and
school
Roebuck
account.
building, long gone. The new 6th Street Bridge and the old, it was a classic, but it had to go. Mount Baldy, or its proper name, Mount San Antonio.
Let's get you out to the car. We gotta get you out of the car.
Bud. Stop
I bet you. I think we're.
Get the grandpa. Get the grandpa.
With the one I'm thinking of specifically, Pride and Prejudice, I just did not have the time and the energy to of mothers and my mom and myself to not only sew the girls' dresses, which I can do that. We got this, but the suits as well. So we went out and went through the rows, got very distracted by old, beautiful Western costumes, some which were so worn and had, of course, character tape in them, and the tape in the neck with the character name, and finding were some really, really classic actor names or character names in them. It just was awesome. Really classic actor names or character names in them. It just was awesome. The rows went up about, I want to say 25 feet, and you would have to get a ladder to get to the ones that maybe you spotted something that was up there, 20 feet. Each one maybe the pipe at 10 feet. It was just awesome. And you, of course, would have a chaperone. And then they trusted me enough over the years. I didn't have a chaperone, and I had a couple boys, and we were pulling tail suits, of course, for the doing the Pride and Prejudice fulfillment in the cages that are by the loading dock where studios come and pick up what the costumers have pulled for them. The humongous cage, it was like the size of a big classroom, was just filled. What is that? And I remember the guy saying, oh, that's a Jim Carrey movie. It's coming out. And he told us the name, and I didn't really think about it until later. It was The Majestic. It was filmed in Northern California about a guy who had lost his memory, that he was a part of the McCarthy era trials. And of course, the Majestic was a movie theater in this little town. I think the town is Ferndale, something like that. Anyway, I would use that movie in trying to teach, of course, my juniors The Crucible. That was something that I'd follow up with. In the other cage, a little cage, maybe a 10 by 12 foot cage, it's chain link. The cage had the Jack in the Box head for Jack in the Box commercials and a bunch of football uniforms. And they were going to be filming the Super Bowl playing on the field. And that was fun for the kids and myself to see. So that's my story of Western costume. Just thought, side note, there you go. A special note to Laura Lynn. We love ya! You need new friends.